Hi, I'm Kalani. I never thought I'd be the one telling a story about betrayal, especially not one involving my own brother and husband. Marcus, my husband of 5 years, had always been the perfect partner, attentive, loving, and seemingly loyal. My brother Dominic had always been, well, Dominic, competitive, envious, and somehow always wanting what I had. But I never imagined how far he would go. Kalani, you look exhausted. Late night at the office again? My friend Tara asked as we met for our weekly coffee. Yeah, this new client is demanding. Marcus has been great, though, handling everything at home. I stirred my latte absently. Actually, he's been spending a lot of time with Dominic lately, too. They're working on some investment thing together. Tara's expression shifted subtly. Together? How often? Few times a week. Why? I noticed her discomfort immediately. It's probably nothing. She looked down at her coffee. Tara, what is it? You're acting weird. I leaned forward, suddenly alert. I saw them yesterday, not at the office like Marcus told you. She hesitated. They were at the Westfield property. You know, the one Dominic's been trying to flip? They were arguing. I frowned. About what? I couldn't hear everything, but Marcus kept saying she deserves to know, and Dominic was saying we agreed to wait. My stomach tightened. Wait for what? I don't know, but Dominic had paperwork. Property paperwork. And then Marcus mentioned something about your house. My house? The one I inherited from Grandma? I felt my pulse quicken. That's my property. Marcus's name isn't even on it. Tara reached for my hand. Kalani, there's more. Last week, Jen saw them at Dominic's place. She said it looked intimate. Intimate how? My voice had gone cold. Like they were celebrating something. Champagne, hugging. Marcus kissed Dominic on the cheek, but it seemed different. I shook my head. No, they're working on investments. Marcus would never... Check your property records, Tara interrupted. And maybe talk to Sophia. She works at the county clerk's office. That afternoon, I called Sophia. Her voice was tight when she answered. I was going to call you, she said before I could even explain why I was calling. There's something you need to see. Property transfer paperwork was filed yesterday. Your brother's name is on it. What property? I asked, though I already knew. Your grandmother's house, Kalani. The transfer request has your signature on it. My signature? That's impossible. I never signed anything. Well, somebody did. And there's a witness signature, too. Your husband's. The world seemed to tilt sideways. I hung up and immediately called my other friend, Eliza, who works as a private investigator. I need your help, I told her, my voice shaking. I think my brother and husband are trying to steal my house. I'll be right over, Eliza said without hesitation. Don't confront them yet. We need evidence. When Eliza arrived, she immediately pulled out her laptop. Let's check your bank accounts, emails, everything. Have you noticed anything unusual? Marcus has been secretive about his phone. Passwords changed on our shared accounts. As I spoke, I remembered more details. And Dominic keeps talking about renovating my house, asking weird questions about the deed. Eliza nodded, typing rapidly. What about your signature? Where would they get it? The joint tax forms we filed last month, I realized suddenly. Marcus handled the paperwork. After an hour of digging, Eliza looked up grimly. Kalani, look at this email thread. It was in your deleted items folder. The emails showed everything. Marcus and Dominic discussing the property scheme for months, planning to transfer my house to Dominic's name using a forged signature, with Marcus getting a cut of the profits once they sold it. I can't believe this, I whispered, reading the exchange where my own husband called me too trusting and laughed about how I'd never notice what they were doing. There's one more thing, Eliza said quietly. The dates they met. They align with when Marcus told you he was working late. The betrayal was complete. My brother wanted my house and my husband was helping him take it. We need to gather more evidence before confronting them. Eliza explained as we sat in her car the next morning, parked outside the county clerk's office. The forged signature is already enough for legal action, but I want to make sure we have everything. I still can't believe Marcus would do this, I said, watching as people entered and exited the building. 5 years of marriage and he's willing to throw it all away for what? Money? People surprise you, Eliza replied, her eyes fixed on the entrance. Look, there's Sophia. Sophia hurried over to our car, clutching a folder. She slipped into the back seat, her face flushed. I made copies of everything, she said, handing me the folder. The transfer request, the witness signatures, everything. Dominic came in this morning asking about the status. What did you tell him? I asked. That it's being processed. He seemed nervous, kept checking his phone. Sophia leaned forward. Kalani, the notary who validated the document is Calvin Reed. He's Dominic's poker buddy. So the notarization is fraudulent too, Eliza noted, taking photos of the documents. This just keeps getting better. There's something else, Sophia added hesitantly. I overheard Dominic on the phone in the hallway. He mentioned something about once the house sells and moving to Colorado. He was talking to Marcus. My hands clenched into fists. They're planning to sell my house and leave town. We need to talk to Calvin, Eliza decided. If he admits to falsifying the notarization, that's another nail in their coffin. We found Calvin at his office later that day. He turned pale when we walked in. Kalani, I wasn't expecting you, he stammered. Clearly, I replied coldly. Want to explain why you notarized my signature on a property transfer I never signed? Dominic said it was a surprise investment opportunity, Calvin said, sweat beading on his forehead. He said you'd signed it but couldn't come in person because you were traveling. And you believed him? Without verifying? He's your brother, and Marcus was there, confirming everything. Eliza stepped forward. You do realize that's fraud, right? You could lose your license, face criminal charges. Calvin's face crumpled. They paid me $5,000. I didn't ask questions. Well, I'm asking questions now, I said. And you're going to tell me everything. They've been planning this for months, Calvin admitted after breaking down. Dominic kept saying he deserved the house more than you did. That your grandmother would have wanted him to have it. That's a lie, I snapped. She left it to me specifically because she didn't trust Dominic with property. Marcus was the one who suggested forging your signature, Calvin continued. Said it would be easier than trying to convince you to sell. Did they mention what they needed the money for? Eliza asked. Calvin hesitated. Dominic has gambling debts? Serious ones? And Marcus? He mentioned something about starting over somewhere new. As we left Calvin's office, I called my lawyer, Angela. I need your help, I told her, my voice steady despite my rage. My brother and husband have committed fraud, and I want them prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Bring me everything you have, Angela replied. And Kalani, don't confront them yet. Let them think they're winning until we're ready to act. That evening, my childhood friend Ryan came over after I called him in distress. I can't believe Dominic would do this to you, Ryan said, pacing my living room. I mean, he's always been jealous, but this crosses every line. He's been jealous since we were kids, I replied. But Marcus? I trusted him completely. Ryan sat beside me. What are you going to do? I'm going to take everything from them, I said, my determination hardening. They tried to steal my house? I'll make sure they lose everything instead. 3 days later, with all our evidence organized and legal paperwork filed, I invited both Marcus and Dominic to my house. They arrived together, matching smiles faltering when they saw Eliza, Ryan, and Angela sitting in my living room. What's this about? Dominic asked, his eyes darting nervously between us. Please, sit down, I said calmly, gesturing to the couch. We have a lot to discuss about the property transfer you filed. Marcus froze. What property transfer? Don't play dumb, Marcus, I replied, sliding the folder across the coffee table. The fraudulent transfer of my grandmother's house to Dominic's name. The one with my forged signature and your witness signature? Dominic recovered first, forcing a laugh. This is just a misunderstanding, Kalani. We were setting up an investment opportunity for all of us. Really? Because Calvin Reed tells a different story. I pulled out my phone and played the recording Eliza had made. Calvin's voice filled the room, detailing their plan in excruciating detail. Marcus's face drained of color. Kalani, listen, this isn't what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like, I interrupted. You and my brother conspired to steal my property through fraud. You never appreciated that house, Dominic burst out. Grandma should have left it to me. I'm the one who helped her with renovations. She left it to me because she knew you'd squander it, I shot back. Just like you've squandered everything else in your life. Marcus reached for my hand. I pulled away. Baby, please, he pleaded. I made a mistake. Dominic convinced me. Don't you dare blame this on me, Dominic shouted. This was your idea from the start. Both of you, stop, Angela interjected. As Kalani's attorney, I should inform you that we've already filed charges for fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. The county clerk's office has been notified about the fraudulent transfer. Dominic lunged to his feet. You can't prove anything. We have the emails, Dominic, Eliza said quietly. The ones where you and Marcus discussed forging Kalani's signature. The ones where you calculated how to split the profits. Marcus dropped his head into his hands. Kalani, I'm so sorry. We never meant to hurt you. You meant to steal from me, I replied, my voice ice cold. You meant to take the one thing my grandmother left me, the home I grew up in. I'll make it up to you, Marcus promised desperately. We can work through this. There's nothing to work through, I said. I want a divorce, and Dominic, I want you out of my life for good. You're overreacting, Dominic shouted, his face reddening. It's just a house. It's my house, I corrected him. And you were willing to destroy our family over it? This is ridiculous, Dominic snarled, grabbing my arm roughly. You've always been the favored one, always getting everything handed to you. Ryan immediately stepped between us. Let her go, now. Or what? Dominic challenged, shoving Ryan backward. Or I'll add assault to the charges, Angela said calmly, already dialing her phone. You'll regret this, Dominic threatened, pointing at me as Marcus tried to pull him away. I swear you'll regret this, Kalani. The only thing I regret is ever trusting either of you, I replied, watching as Dominic's rage boiled over. He lunged toward me, but Ryan intercepted him. In the scuffle, Dominic struck Ryan hard across the face, then shoved me against the wall when I tried to intervene. That's assault, Angela said, her phone already connected to 911. And we have witnesses. 6 months later, I sat in the courtroom as the judge delivered his verdict. Dominic, in his county-issued jumpsuit, stared straight ahead, while Marcus, seated with his attorney, couldn't meet my eyes. On the charges of forgery, fraud, and assault, the judge announced, the court finds the defendants guilty. Dominic Carter is sentenced to 3 years in prison, and Marcus Taylor to 2 years probation plus full restitution. The judge addressed me directly. Miss Carter, your petition to maintain sole ownership of the property has been approved. The fraudulent transfer is nullified. Outside the courtroom, my friends surrounded me as reporters called out questions. Justice was served, I replied simply. That's all I wanted. Marcus broke away from his attorney and approached me. Kalani, please, he begged, his voice breaking. Can we talk? Ryan stepped forward protectively, but I held up my hand. It's okay. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, Marcus began, but I'm deeply sorry. It was the biggest mistake of my life. You're right, I said evenly. You don't deserve my forgiveness. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you, he continued desperately. No, you won't, I replied. Because you won't be in my life. The divorce papers are being finalized next week. Kalani, please. We had 5 good years. Does none of that matter? It mattered to me, I said. That's why your betrayal hurt so much. But I'm not that trusting, naive woman you took advantage of anymore. I still love you, he whispered. And I don't love you anymore, I replied simply. That's the consequence of what you did, Marcus. You lost me forever. That evening, my friends gathered at my house for a celebration. To Kalani, who didn't just get revenge, she got justice, Ryan toasted. What will you do with the house now? Tara asked. I'm turning it into a legal aid center, I replied. We'll offer services to victims of fraud who can't afford representation. Perfect revenge, Eliza laughed. Using the house they tried to steal to help others fight back? It's not about revenge anymore, I said, looking around at the friends who stood by me. It's about moving forward. They took enough of my energy. I'm not giving them any more. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in months. Whatever happens next is entirely my choice. That's the best part about cutting toxic people from your life. You get to reclaim your story. The house my grandmother left me had become more than property. It was now a symbol of resilience, of boundaries enforced and justice served. Have you ever had to stand up to someone who betrayed your trust? What would you have done in my place?